However, I just want to make note here that this is the source of nourishment in that way, right? We could see it as like the source of the panacea. That even sounds like placenta when you listen to it, but we won't make too many off connections here that someone can argue against. The panacea is a substance that can be turned into anything. So let's say instead of having these different fruits and different vitamins, this functions almost like a manna where you can use it to do anything. This is what I know comes from this source. It's more of like a spiritual source. Something you would see as like chi, Ming, and all of those mixed in together, if you may. And that life force can be used to do anything. Just put it like that. And it nourishes. So I would automatically then say that
I'm almost
if
done.
somehow that navel
See?
starts being controlled, that would be really the control point of the consciousness that is flowing through the space, would it not? So sometimes, again, I don't find things written. I have to come up with my own intelligence and awareness based on what is written and make a logical deduction of, well, if this is the center and they got this big old pyramid sitting on the center, and then for the ancients, what was written in the pyramid, what was kept in the pyramid was like the highest of everything that we knew, right? So on the navel in the center of the world was sitting all the knowledge, all the intelligence, all the awareness. So technically, especially in a spiritual world, not an electronic and a robotic world, wouldn't that kind of be something everybody else inherits too? Like, meaning that because the center of the world is filled with all of these treasures and knowledge and wisdom and gold and symbols and things that mean and stand for all this greatness, that the sheer fact of them being there and in place, especially as the stars are moving and shining lights down certain tubes and activating, like Indiana Jones shows, they put the crystal stab there and the light shine through and beam up, show up the whole wall. It's sitting on 45-degree angle or whatever like that. It's retracting the light. There's big crystals all over the place, buried souls and gin all over ancestors' bones. And I mean, I don't have to. I mean, it seems like they was overdoing it a bit. I don't have to be, a explorer to see that this is how ancient tech would probably be configured. You see what I mean? So it's just something for you to think about. Like I said, today is a thought experiment, but I find it highly plausible that you can enrich the inhabitants of the planet's consciousness and even give them the vision of what is the projection for everything.
Takes about 6 hours to do.
Doing that with the overarch, which is the larger spirit, Anima Mundi, which is the planet, if you may, and then embedding within that area its center, its sacral point, all the wisdom and knowledge in which you want to spread to its children. You see what I mean? I mean, do I seem like a mad genius or something like that because I'm insisting on such things? I think that this is logical and basic and common, right? And so, with that being said, though, the condition that it's in is
so hungry too.
His name is, and then now they got the big museum up there.
Like I'm starving
all the time. It's clearly not operating the way that it was before.
Yeah, I got started around like 10:30, I think, 11 maybe.
The inhabitants will preserve any of these kind of temples or shrines to keep them in immaculate condition. You know what I mean? Just out of respect. And these temples and
all time consuming. Plus my hands were getting tired. The middle part takes a while. And yeah.
Plundered, to be honest. Okay. And I think that again says
doing your own locks is not for the weak.
That our world, the great navel, where supposedly antediluvian king kept all the treasures and preserved them, is like completely just trashed and used as a vacation or somebody else's new career rather than what it really is. And that's just being non-judgmental. You know what I mean? Because then we could go into, well, the cult of Amun, and we could go into all of that, but it's just like, but hey, the center of the world is virtually infected right now. So we move from there.
Oh yeah, I'm tired.
I feel like that the consciousness of many people in the world is infected. It has been infiltrated somehow.
Tired of getting hair in my mouth.
more and more of that so much every single day, it becomes worth my time and my energy to, also.
But more than anything, I'm just hungry. Like, I just want to stop and eat, but I know I'm almost done. So I just want to get it done.
And then also arm us.
And then I can eat, I can smoke, all kinds of things.
The obvious. So to me, central intelligence infiltrated central spiritual intelligence first. And this is why people find themselves in a state where they have to relearn something that they should automatically know. Okay? So now we have the new opening of the next part of the message, which involves a character by the name of John D. and another character by the name of Edward Kelly, also known as Edward Tolbert. And this came because as the beginning of the whole energy coming through with the spy thing was happening, it was prepping me for understanding that there were spiritual spies, if you may. And not only that, that the construct that we live in right now, well, not us, many of the consciousnesses that subscribe to things like eschatology, which means basically an end, or even a rapture, that all these ideas were formulated during a specific time and then propagated through the world as if this was true. And it eventually made its way into new scriptures and new books. And it has now made its way to being the most popular Christian tradition in the world and rapidly trending as Christian Zionism.
Yes.
Okay? So
I'd like to finish this so I can knock it off the list.
Who exactly we're talking about. And we'll begin with John D. And John D, and let me pull up some slides here, is known as the Boy Wonder. We're talking about the time of 1546 AD. He's having lectures on Euclid in Paris at 19, according to his backdrop. He's produced navigation tables. This is the gentleman on the left. He's produced navigation tables for the Northwest Passage schemes. He's advised earls of Northernland and Leicester, Courtiers such as Robert Dudley became long-term patrons and later vouched for him at Elizabeth's accession. This is Queen Elizabeth. He was arrested for casting horoscopes on Queen Mary and Princess Elizabeth. Which is technically treason. He was cleared after the Star Chamber hearings, which concluded that he had drew an electoral chart that fixed January the 15th of 1559 as Elizabeth's coronation day, which it turned out being, meaning he predicted that Queen Elizabeth would ascend to the throne before she did, and exactly what day she would do so. And in this way, it says here,
holy shit, this is
selecting
tight.
the date that she gave him as her personal
it hurts.
and she won the Queen's trust, and she began calling him my philosopher.
It hurts.
We also have Robert Talbot Kelly, who's pictured here on the right. Kelly, then 26, under the alias Talbot, walked uninvited into Dee's study one day at Mortlake, offering his services as a scryer and a crystal gazer. There are some accounts here that say that there was an ad that Dee put out looking for a scryer or crystal gazer, but this says that he just walked in one day because Dee was advertising for a good seer or a spiritual apparitionist. Kelly allegedly produced the Archangel Uriel in the crystal sphere, convincing D to hire him at $50 per annum or an unusually high stipend for a non-gentleman. Okay, so this is Kelly's background. There's a little bit more information. He was married to a widow who was wealthy, etc. But this is how the two got together according to the accounts. We have one other person that we need to introduce in this trio, which would be Francis Walsingham, who is a European spy, 1570 to 1590. He was tasked with spotting the Catholic coalitions that might... Probably one more rubber band for this one, safekeeping. Because, see, contrary to even some of the thought today, which is actually a program thought that many of the Christian churches are, they all united because they're all believe in Christ. This is like saying that all the Arabs are united because they all believe in Allah. And what you find is nothing could be further from the truth. This should teach us once again that the religious domicile completely corrupted, infiltrated, and its use is really to just modify and continue to bring forth the objectives of the king, now especially. But back in the day, there was this thing where the Catholics had all but monopolized the whole Christian field. And it was big. I mean, in these areas especially, you were a Catholic. Catholic meant even that you were wealthy. And so in that way, things like buying indulgences, which is the Pope saying, hey, if you committed this sin, you can just buy some of these indulgences, maybe keep a little bit in stock, and you can keep sinning that. There rose a group, sometimes known as the Protestants, that said, you know what, this ain't right. It's just really should be about the Bible, not about, all of this. And, of course, they were pointing out all the things that were going on illegitimately with then Catholicism, especially in relation to Christ. This birthed an entirely new part of the tradition. Again, those later on become known as the Protestants. But primarily, what the Queen and the spies were interested in knowing, amongst many things, was, one, are these Catholics getting to a level where they can, join in with others who are attempting to attack us? So it wasn't like a religious thing for them to begin to spy on Catholics and to even begin to think about creating another religion altogether. Because what you continue to find in this context is the royals become extremely, from the beginning, addicted to alternative spiritual systems. It's almost as if they already know that Christianity is a sham, and they're either taking the philosophical route, like to see, hey, what did some of the old philosophers say? Or they're really interested in sorcerers, necromancers, or people rolling throughout the land that have some kind of ability. But that was all really kind of surmised in things like tarot, predictions, projections, oracular work. So this was extremely popular amongst the royals. So right away, Francis Walsingham, who was the lead spy, realized that spirituality, if you made alternative spirituality, was a perfect segue into spycraft. Because, I call this the Y, statecraft via spectacle. That's the term. In Prague, the promise of gold plus angelic revelations, because remember, this whole thing about turning dirt into gold from the alchemists, right? Like, a prince is thinking, yo, if I can turn dirt into gold, I'm going to be like the biggest king of the world. This is really what it was like. It was easy to get them to be like, hey, come over and perform some of these tricks. So it goes on, it says the promise of gold plus angelic revelations. This is like, hey, the angels say you're going to win this battle. You know what I mean? So this kind of thing, they were hooked. So it says, angelic revelations perfectly matched Rudolph II's quest for universal knowledge, right? Because they were trying to infiltrate Rudolph II. And they knew, you could get him with that idea that gold, that you could produce gold infinitely, and that you could use angels to cast horoscopes? So it says Kelly staged transmutations, drew nobles into private laboratories where he and D, looking back up on the screen again, could gather political intelligence useful to the Elizabethan spy master Francis Walsingham, who we just saw, who already received coded letters from D signed 007. We talked about John D was the original 007. So it goes on. Theatrical transmutations brought nobles close and it loosened their tongues. Spies love a salon magnet. Royals love the occult. Forward intelligence on Poland, Bohemia, and the Empire. At that very moment, Philip II was trying to bind them into an anti-English
Thank you.
and that information was leaked from Kelly and D to the Queen through these letters signed 007 that were in a cipher. Technological booty. D shipped home new Continental Star catalogs, metallurgy recipes, and a copy of Rudolph's mining codes. Invaluable to Queen Elizabeth's advisors who were planning English tin and copper monopolies. Okay? So this literally alters the future, the work that these guys are doing from the spy level alone. But watch how, because the projection is so grand, it also begins to alter the future of the spiritual aspects of things, even up until this very day, to even what becomes Rosicrucian later on, Rosicrucianism, etc. Watch. It goes on, a soft power coup. Long before England had resident ambassadors in Prague, a pair of wandering philosophers were dining with emperors and reporting back nightly. Edward Kelly, traveling as D's spiritual medium, provided perfect cover.
I'm so hungry, but I'm about to be done. I'm about to be done.
The aristocrats Walsingham wanted to watch. Okay? So now you're watching what it means to be like a double agent. Because after careful digging, I wasn't able to throw out that Kelly and D didn't somehow have spiritual affiliations also. Which, of course, in reading this, you could just say, oh, okay, they were all just using the spiritual stuff just to, like, get their foot in, and it was all a sham. That ultimately doesn't prove to be completely true, maybe in the beginning. But even at that stage, maybe even some invisible entities were like, this is a perfect way to infiltrate the rest of them. You see what I mean? Spy versus spy on layers, where a person is thinking that, oh, you getting over, it's just the vibe, right? But they scheming and doing all types of stuff and attract scheming energies who are way more advanced at this kind of thing. So here's what happens. Let's go to the text here. John D's Enochian blueprint. John D, advisor to Queen Elizabeth I, used Enochian magic and occult communications with angelic intelligences to craft a Kabbalistic blueprint for the below-world Protestant hegemony. So this means this is the beginning of the Protestants. Remember, Manifest Destiny and even the Quakers and Seventh-day Adventists, all of them later on are sprouting from this root. But this was the beginning. And it says a framework entirely foreign to the early New Testament teachings, right? So they came in with basically Kabbalistic magic. We're going to see some of this here in a minute. It goes on that crystal scrying to contact angelic intelligences, which is something that we're going to specifically look into, because it turns out that when I start tracing this knowledge that they were using, they weren't the inventors of it, which is even the concept today. Like, oh yeah, D and Kelly brought in a brand new system and that taught Crowley. That wasn't the case. And many of their techniques were definitely taken directly from the Mesoamericans, especially the stuff that works, i.e. your Mayans, your Aztecs, etc., your Olmecs, etc. So watch this. So So it says D and his medium, Edward Kelly,
But you already know that I'm fucking real. We've done this before. Silly. What do I need to say peanut butter for when we've already done that?
What he found out from the Mesoamericans, which they had infiltrated all those areas. Think of Christopher Columbus, etc. That they found out something could be used to contact the other world. Let's keep going.
Could I have?
Through these experiments, he believed he was talking and speaking directly with angels, and that evil spirits, which he believed to be angels. And Kelly faithfully recorded their recordings in what they termed a pre-Hebraic or Enochian language.
Thank you. Oh my god, I'm done. What do you guys think?
This is the actual mirror. I think all of this still sits in the Louvre. John Dee's actual scrying obsidian mirror, which I even found the mine that it was pulled from.
Looks cute.
And the mine was completely. They were saying like they have recordings of.
And I can put it halfway up.
But they say that this mine
can even throw up the ones up top into like a cute little ponytail thing. Ow.
In Mexico.
Cute little ponytail.
I'll have to get the exact stuff. I don't want to.
A little half up, half down. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to.
And then notice on the back of the mirror the leaves here. So this
one's low key too tiny to get in there. Leave that one out. So yeah, I do that sometimes too. Sometimes I'll do like a half up, half down kind of situation.
Well, that's also called the black text acne polka, which is
but thank you so much.
Oh, they call it
hair done. Thank God. One less thing to worry about for this trip.
When I was reading, I was getting spies, stuff, truths, lies. So I realized that my discernment needed to go up quite a few notches. And I didn't want to rule out that some of the things that they were doing was all fanciful. I was being advised by myself not to do that. Like, yo, don't think that everything these dudes are doing is just all, smoke and mirror spycraft stuff. There's a real connection here with spirits because it becomes way more pronounced later on. But in these times, it seemed like it was all surmised that they end up just being spies. And the spiritual stuff gets thrown out the window. However, after looking carefully through everything, it clearly appears that they had been summoning entities and that the entities took it from there at a certain point. And they always had that cover. In this case, the cover was that they were spies, right? So nobody really took after that what they were doing really serious, except for Elias Crowley, Matt Blavatsky,
now it's time to eat. I haven't ate all day.
And everybody else.
I'm getting ready for this trip. I'm going to Vegas. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you guys this. I'm going to Vegas. I'm an official MJ BizCon content creator this year for MJ Biz 2025. So I will be in Vegas next week or this week for MJ BizCon. So I had to look cute. It's all over my page, buddy.
Based on that, what is really possible? So instead of analyzing it from a state like, is this really true? Let's go over that statement and imagine that it's already true. What are we talking about? So I hit it with a.
I'm gonna be there from the 2nd through the 5th. So
really interesting.
Catch me outside. How about that? Catch me.
Over 100 sessions. Then angelic interlocutors.
You guys should see all the cute outfits that I have planned to wear next week. I didn't have to do y'all like this. But y'all asked for it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all asked for it. So
sequences of calls or keys to unlock success.
Give y'all a fashion show. I'm weak. I really should, but maybe later. Maybe later. I need to eat first and foremost. I'm gonna go do that. But make sure you guys are following me on everything. Follow me on Threads. They kicked me out of the Instagram app, so I can only use half of the app's features through my browser. But follow me on Threads. I be on Threads. And follow me on Instagram, the.ebonyhempress. Also, make sure y'all are subscribing to my YouTube channel. Go subscribe to my cannabis media platform as well if you like weed. Damn, I'm so close to that point, but I'm trying to still stay in there. I can't use the Facebook app and I can't use the Instagram app, but Threads fucks with me heavy. Threads fucks with me heavy. But yes. And when these are going through, I'm about to go eat, you guys. If they get stopped or caught or anything, these are all magical treaties for these magical angelic systems. Damn, for sure, that's crazy, bro. I'm thinking if I fucking get a new phone, they let me back in. Directly to the queen. And they would pass through. I hope if I get a new phone next year that I can get back into my app. Because I'm in my account, but I can only look at it through the browser. Like, the app itself will not accept my login info. Directly to the queen? But in some damn, I'm gonna be pissed. Because I can log into other people's phones on the app, just not my own. That's why I think if I get a new phone, they'll let me in. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for being here while I did my hair all day. Now you guys know what it takes to be this cute.